What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark, and we're going to be talking about what Shinsuke Nakamura whispered in the ear of Seth freaking Rollins. We're going to break down, what he said in the promo and, what he whispered in his ear, what he revealed to Seth. And, last night I thought it was interesting how they presented Nakamura. Usually when they have Nakamura cut promos, um, it's not, it doesn't really look good on TV because of the language barrier, the language barrier. And, his English, I'm not going to say is horrible, but I will say he's trying to work on it. It's not too bad, but they really should present him more consistently the way they presented him last night, with him talking in Japanese. Felt like New Japan Pro Wrestling Nakamura, you know, and we had subtitles to what he actually said word for word, and he said to Seth, "I whispered to Seth, I know about your back. Seth's back has been broken for many years. He lives in pain, and this pain creates a void inside of him that nothing can fill. And no matter how successful he is still in pain. When he hugs his wife, he is in pain. When he picks up his child, he is in pain. He is a world champion, yet every day of his life is filled with pain." And I'm like, at this point, this is very good. This was a very well written promo. And before, when they first started feuding, I just thought this was going to be, one of those run on the mill world title feuds. This is just to give Seth Rollins something to do, because there's nothing else for him to do, and there's no other opponent. So I just thought, okay, they're just going to throw Nakamura at Rollins, and they're going to have a world title match at Payback. But this actually took to a whole different level. Like, this promo, it actually unlocked a whole different layer to this feud that really had no steam at all, right? But what he said next was very interesting. That, brought a whole different layer, a whole different dimension to the feud. He goes on to say, "And now his worst fears are coming true. He knows that I can break him once and for all. You see, Seth and I are not so different. I have a void too. We live by a code that others do not. In fact, that code is displayed on his back. The very same back that is failing to hold him together, just like he is failing to live by that code." I love how they introduced the code that is imprinted on Seth's back. The whole back tattoo. And we never got any context on that whole back tattoo. I don't think Seth has actually ever explained that tattoo. And obviously it's a code. We know that now. And it's in Japanese, which is funny, right? But makes a lot of sense why Nakamura would be the one to bring that up. Because, as he mentioned, he lives by that same code as well as Seth, right? But Seth knows about, not Seth, but Nakamura, he knows about Seth's back. He knows about his back problems, right? And we didn't know this until recently, but it seems to me, trying to find it on this article. There's a lot of ads I got to run through. Goddamn ads. Yeah. So he's been dealing with 2 fractures in his lumbar spine for over 4 years. 4 years of a fractured lumbar spine. Wow. So ever since 2019, Seth has been battling through this injury, right? That's existed for 4 years, right? He's been wrestling nonstop, and he probably didn't want anybody to know about it, right? He wasn't going to tell the company that he has this injury because he knows how much time he can lose. He knows how much time he will be out, and that's something for Seth. He doesn't want to miss any time, and if he's to go away after this feud with Nakamura, that means he would have to drop the title, right? And he could miss WrestleMania because, for 4 years, you've been putting a lot of pressure, a lot of wear and tear on that spine. So if he goes out now, after 4 years of building up that injury, he could be out for a long time, guys. I'm just saying. And, he acknowledges the risk of being targeted for his injuries, in the wrestling industry, right? But I'm just very impressed on this promo because they really made sense out of this, right? And they just brought it to a whole different dimension than compared to what it was from the very beginning. Oh, Nakamura just Kinshasa, hit Seth with the Kinshasa out of nowhere, right? Betrayed him after the tag match and saying, yeah, I want your world title. Just a basic world title feud, nothing special. But they took it up a notch. And I do appreciate that, And he says that that code is displayed on Seth's back, right? That same back that's failing to hold him together. And he thinks that Seth is going to fail. He's going to fail to live by that code that is imprinted on his back. Once he said that, man, I'm like, wow, this is deep. Like, this is a really good promo by Nakamura. This is probably his best promo. And if we can just present Nakamura in this type of way when he is cutting a promo in Japanese, that would be great. I feel like that is how you make the most out of Nakamura. If he's going to talk, right? If he's going to cut a promo, that's how you do it. You don't have him do it the traditional way of going out there and just run through an entire script. No. You don't just have him go out there and read off a script like everybody else does. It's cookie cutter. Nakamura, at the end of the day, he is not a cookie cutter type of performer. And this promo that he cut in Japanese was evident that he is not cookie cutter. Vince tried to fit him into his own mold of booking originally, and that failed. It backfired. Vince thought he knew what to do with Nakamura. He thought he knew what he was doing by pigeon-toeing him into a cookie cutter type of way, right? Go out there, cut a promo, say a bunch of corny stuff as a babyface, have this babyface syndrome, all this, nonsense, right? Of how they book wrestlers, how Vince books his wrestlers, especially of the new generation, you know. And we knew that he wasn't booking Nakamura to play up to his strengths. This right here was playing up to Nakamura's strengths. It's the way he delivered the lines in Japanese that made him sound diabolical, like a cold-blooded killer, right? That's the vibe. That's the vibe that I got from this promo. He then says his body has crumbled under pressure of his own vanity. Are you satisfied, Seth, with what you have done with your life? Are you satisfied, Seth? Because I will not be satisfied until I take this burden from you. When I break you once and for all. And he says, watch your back. So this promo definitely revealed, you know, of Seth's ongoing fractured lumbar spine. And now that we know that what that tattoo on his back means, it's a code that Seth lives by. Now, like I said, I don't know if Seth revealed of what that code is, of what he lives by. Obviously, Nakamura knows that code. So that was something of a detail that they have revealed that was interesting. And it makes me wonder, now that that has been revealed and that's been brought to our attention, I'm wondering if this is how they're going to take the world title off of Seth and give it to Nakamura. Like, that would be very unexpected. And I would not be against it. I would not be against it at all. If Shinsuke wins at Payback, that's going to be incredible. And you know, now the story going into the match is Nakamura is going to go after Seth's back. He has to, because now that's the built-in story, right? And it's brilliant because, you know, it makes you think that Seth can legitimately lose to Shinsuke Nakamura. It makes you want to see this match even more. The promo alone just sold you on this match. They kind of put the pieces together, and that's what it's all about. Like, this is like next level type of storytelling, where it's like you're putting the pieces together and you're just making sense of why these two guys are feuding, or why one guy is going after the champion, right? It's not just, oh, I want to be world champion. I want to be world champion. No, it's more than that. It's more than just, oh, I want to be world champion. So that's why I attacked you. I think this is a lesson that Nakamura is trying to teach Seth, to watch your back. Because, you know, Seth was unaware of what Nakamura was going to do. Nakamura has a tendency to be sneaky. I mean, we saw with the whole AJ feud, you know, him kicking him in the balls and low balling him and everything, and, you know, and, you know, that's just a good story to tell, because Seth thought he could trust Shinsuke Nakamura, right? Because he has a lot of respect for him. So his guard was definitely let down. He let his guard down completely. And, you know, he even mentioned Seth's wife, Becky, even mentioned his daughter. So he brought his family into it now, you know. And you know how they like to always bring the family element into the storylines to make it seem more personal. So now it just adds more fuel to the fire, adds more gasoline to the tank. You know, it definitely spices things up now with Seth and Shinsuke. Now it gives Seth a reason to want to beat Shinsuke. And now this feels like a threat to Seth's title reign. Shinsuke feels an actual threat to Seth's world title reign, and that's important. You don't want to just have Shinsuke be a run-of-the-mill challenger, contender, and then boom, he's back to the mid-card, facing Bronson Reed every week, fighting Ricochet in a nothing feud. No, now Shinsuke is back in the main event scene. I think we should just, you know, let Shinsuke leave Shinsuke in the main event scene, because at this point, he's been around too long enough not to be, and too talented not to be, too charismatic not to be. You know, and it just goes to show you, like, how badly Vince McMahon messed Shinsuke up initially. When he first debuted, they did not present him in the right way. How he was presented in NXT was amazing. You know, he was treated like a legitimate star. On SmackDown, when he first debuted, he was just cookie cutter. He was just another body on the roster. That's how it felt with Nakamura for many, many years. You know? And I feel like when it comes to Nakamura, we're in the rebuilding process of taking him seriously again. So that promo, man, made me want to see this match even more. And, you know, it definitely entertains the idea of Seth potentially losing the world title and going away for injury. He did reveal it on Logan Paul's podcast that he's been dealing with this injury for 4 years, you know, and makes me wonder if he's going to lose the title. And just for him to lose the title, for Nakamura to bring that up in the promo and Seth acknowledging it, makes me believe that Seth could lose the world title. Or it's just a way to kind of build adversity for Seth, to kind of give him something to conquer, give him something to fight for. You know, because when it came to fighting Finn Balor, Damian Priest, it just felt like they were much the underdogs, right? Now in this situation, Seth feels like more so the underdog. He feels like, okay, he has to win. He has to, you know, retain and all that. Like, now the pressure is turned around for Seth Rollins, right? And maybe they're just trying to do this to give him adversity, to make people be more invested into Seth, right? As they already are. But, you know, this promo definitely unlocked new layers, a couple of new layers, which is something always important in storytelling. Like, that's how you get people to care. You gotta give the fans a reason to want to invest, to want to watch, right? That's what makes the Bloodline storyline so unique, because there's so many layers. You know, there were a lot of layers, right, to the Bloodline saga. And I think that's one of the most important elements of storytelling in wrestling, is you add more layers to each guy's character and the storyline itself, the plot, right? The plot thickens. That's what this feels like. The plot thickens with Shinsuke, of what he whispered in Seth's ear, right? And then he revealed what he said in his ear, and it caught Seth off guard. It flabbergasted him, and it made him uncomfortable. Right? Something that we haven't seen from Seth is being caught off guard, uncomfortable, being kind of unsure of himself, right? So with that being said, I really enjoy this promo. It's something you probably want to go back and watch if you haven't. But this was definitely his best promo to date. So what do you guys think? Do you think this is a sign that they're going to give Nakamura the world title and Seth is going to leave, get his back surgery, get himself fixed up? Because if he goes for surgery, he's going to miss WrestleMania, and that's for sure. No doubt in my mind he's going to miss WrestleMania. And for Seth, I don't think he wants to miss WrestleMania 40. And who can blame him? You know, this is his life. You know, that's his career, you know. So he takes pride in what he does. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. If you think Nakamura is bound to win the world title at Payback, I think it would be pretty cool. And definitely, you know, long overdue, to say the least. But we'll see what happens. In the meantime, hit that like button. It's free. Subscribe today for more content. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark off another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk, and I'm out. Peace.